Shopping has changed so much in recent years. With online stores becoming so popular, I often wonder between online shopping and traditional shopping in physical stores, which one is better?
I think online shopping is definitely more convenient. You can shop anytime from anywhere without having to travel. Plus, you get access to a wide variety of products, often at better prices and with discounts that local stores can't match.
That's true. But traditional shopping has its own charm. You can actually see and feel the product before buying. This reduces the risk of disappointment, like when clothes don't fit properly or the quality isn't what you expected.
Yes, I've faced that problem. Sometimes the pictures online look amazing, but the real product is completely different. Returning items can also be a hassle.
That's fair. But many online platforms have improved their return and refund policies. For busy people, it saves a lot of time. You can compare prices quickly, read customer reviews, and even get products delivered to your doorstep.
Still, traditional shopping offers a better overall experience. Going to a store with friends or family can be enjoyable. You can try clothes on immediately, ask for assistance, and take the product home right away instead of waiting for delivery.
I think both have their strengths. For electronics and books, I prefer online shopping. But for clothes, shoes, or jewelry, I usually like going to the store. It feels safer and more reliable.
Another benefit of online shopping is access to global products. You can order items that aren't available in your city or even your country. That level of choice is impossible in local stores.
True, but traditional shopping supports local businesses and jobs. If everyone only shops online, small shops might struggle to survive. Shopping in markets also connects us with people and culture, which online shopping can't provide.
That's a really good point. Sometimes, bargaining in local markets or just enjoying the festive atmosphere of shopping streets adds to the joy. Online platforms can't replicate that.
But don't forget that online shopping is more eco-friendly in some ways. It reduces the need for people to drive around to multiple shops, which lowers traffic and pollution.
On the other hand, packaging waste from online shopping is a big environmental concern. Every item comes with plastic wraps, boxes, and fillers, which creates a lot of trash.
So it seems online shopping offers convenience, variety, and global access, while traditional shopping provides trust, personal experience, and cultural connection.
Exactly, both have their own advantages.
Yes, maybe the best approach is to use them together. Shop online when it's practical, and go to stores when you want the experience.
These days, young people seem to follow celebrities in almost everything: fashion, lifestyle, even opinions. Sometimes I wonder if this influence is too strong and whether it shapes youth in a good or bad way.
I think celebrities definitely have a huge impact on youth, and often it's not positive. Young people copy their style, spend money on expensive products, and sometimes even imitate bad habits like smoking or reckless behavior. The influence can be overwhelming, especially when teenagers don't realize the difference between entertainment and real life.
I agree celebrities have a big influence, but it's not always bad. Many celebrities use their fame for positive causes, promoting education, raising awareness about climate change, or supporting charity. If young people follow these good examples, it can inspire them to contribute to society.
That's true. I think the problem is not the influence itself, but how young people interpret it. For example, when a film star promotes fitness, it can motivate fans to stay healthy. But when the same star shows off luxury lifestyles, it might create unrealistic expectations.
Yes, and social media has made it even worse. Earlier, people only saw celebrities in movies or television shows, but now they can follow their daily lives on Instagram or YouTube. This constant exposure makes young fans compare themselves all the time, which can harm their self-esteem.
But at the same time, social media also allows celebrities to connect more personally with their audience. Some stars openly share struggles with mental health or failure, which helps youth understand that even famous people have challenges. That can be comforting and motivating.
I guess it depends on how responsibly celebrities use their influence. If they are aware of their impact on young minds, they can become positive role models, but not all of them think about the consequences of their actions.
Exactly. For many celebrities, their main goal is to maintain popularity, not to educate or guide youth. They endorse products just for money, regardless of whether those products are useful or harmful. Young people don't always see that side of things.
True, but we also need to remember that youth should learn to think critically. Instead of blindly following celebrities, they should question what they see. Education and parental guidance play a role here.
So maybe the solution is balance. Celebrities will always influence youth, but the responsibility lies both with the stars to act wisely and with society to teach young people to make their own choices.
I agree. Influence is natural, but overdependence is dangerous.
Yes, if guided properly, celebrity influence can actually be a force for good.
Everywhere we hear about climate change, rising temperatures, floods, and wildfires. Governments and big companies are often blamed, but I keep wondering, how much responsibility do we as individuals have in tackling climate change?
I think individuals play a very important role. Small actions like saving electricity, reducing plastic use, and choosing public transport can make a big difference when millions of people do them. Change has to start at the personal level.
That's true, but let's be realistic. Individual actions are important, but they're not enough. Climate change is largely driven by industries and corporations. For example, fossil fuel companies and large factories produce far more emissions than ordinary people ever could. Without systemic change, individual efforts will have limited impact.
I agree with both of you. Personally, I try to reduce waste at home, but sometimes I feel it's too small compared to the scale of the problem. Still, I think awareness at the individual level is necessary because it builds pressure on governments and businesses to act.
Exactly. Individual responsibility is not just about lifestyle changes, it's also about collective action. When people demand eco-friendly policies, vote for leaders who prioritize sustainability, or support green businesses, they influence the bigger system.
True, but we also have to acknowledge that not everyone has the same ability to act. For example, someone living in a rural area may not have access to renewable energy options, or people with low income may not be able to afford eco-friendly products. That's why structural changes are more critical.
Good point. Still, education and awareness can help people make better choices within their means. Even small steps, like planting trees or reducing food waste, can build a culture of responsibility.
Yes, and individual role models matter. When young people see influencers, teachers, or community leaders living sustainably, they are inspired to follow. This ripple effect can't be underestimated.
But at the same time, we shouldn't shift the blame entirely onto individuals. Big corporations sometimes promote the idea of personal responsibility just to escape accountability. Both levels, individual and systemic, must work together.
So, to sum up, individuals do have responsibility in addressing climate change through daily habits, awareness, and collective pressure. But large-scale impact requires industries and governments to commit to real change.
Exactly. Both personal choices and systemic policies are necessary for real progress.
Yes, climate change is too big for one side alone. Everyone, individuals, governments, and businesses, must share responsibility for the planet's future.
With so much digital content around us, videos, social media, and online courses, I sometimes wonder if reading is still as important as it used to be. Do you think reading still holds value in the digital age?
I think reading is more important than ever. It develops focus, imagination, and critical thinking. Unlike short social media posts or videos, reading books or articles gives depth and context. It trains the brain to process information more carefully.
That's true, but many people today prefer quicker content, like podcasts or videos, because they're more convenient. Reading takes time and patience, which not everyone has. In fact, some argue that digital media has replaced reading as the main way to learn and entertain ourselves.
Yes, I see your point. But I feel reading gives something unique. For example, when I read a novel, I imagine the characters and settings myself, unlike in movies where everything is shown. It's a more personal experience.
Reading also builds vocabulary and improves language skills. For students, this is especially valuable. Even in the digital age, those who read regularly tend to express themselves better in writing and speaking.
But we should also admit that digital platforms have transformed reading. Many people now read ebooks, blogs, and online articles instead of traditional books. So it's not that reading is disappearing, it's just changing its form.
That's a good point. Digital reading also makes books more accessible. With ebooks and online libraries, even students in remote areas can access knowledge without waiting for physical copies.
True, but one challenge is distraction. When reading on a digital device, notifications and ads often interrupt the flow. Traditional reading provides deeper concentration, while digital reading sometimes encourages multitasking.
I agree, but I also think multimedia learning has its advantages. Videos and infographics can simplify complex topics. So maybe the key is to combine both reading for depth and digital media for quick understanding.
That makes sense. Perhaps reading should be seen not as outdated, but as complementary to digital media. Schools and parents should encourage students to balance both.
Absolutely. Reading shapes independent thought, while digital content adds variety. Together, they prepare students for the modern world.
Yes, but if people completely stop reading, society risks losing deep thinking and reflective skills. That's why awareness about the importance of reading must continue.
So, to sum up, reading is still crucial in the digital age. It improves focus, imagination, and language, while digital platforms make it more accessible. The real challenge is balancing reading with fast digital content.
Exactly. Reading won't disappear. It will adapt.
Yes, and if we use both wisely, we can get the best of tradition and technology.
I've been reading about billion-dollar space missions recently, and it made me wonder, is space exploration really worth the cost? Couldn't that money be better spent on solving problems here on Earth like poverty, education, and healthcare?
I think space exploration is absolutely worth the investment. It drives scientific discovery, pushes technology forward, and inspires future generations. Many inventions we use today, like GPS, satellite communication, and weather forecasting, came from space research. Without these, our daily lives would look very different.
That's true, but the cost is enormous. A single space mission can cost billions of dollars. Meanwhile, millions of people lack clean water, proper food, and medical care. It feels unfair to spend so much on exploring other planets while basic human needs on Earth remain unmet.
Yes, both sides make sense. Personally, I feel space exploration has long-term benefits, but the short-term needs of people are also urgent. Maybe governments should balance both priorities, rather than focusing heavily on one.
I agree, but I'd add that space research often benefits Earth directly. For example, satellites help monitor climate change, track natural disasters, and improve agriculture. These tools save lives and support sustainable development. So the investment is not just about space, it's about improving life here too.
That's a fair point, but we should also consider who benefits. Often, wealthy nations lead space exploration, while poorer countries are left behind. Instead of spending on ambitious missions to Mars, why not share resources to make the world more equal?
Another thing to consider is private companies. Today, organizations like SpaceX and Blue Origin are investing in space travel. This means governments might not need to carry the full financial burden anymore. Still, there are concerns about commercialization and whether space will become a playground for the rich.
Yes, but private investment can also reduce costs and speed up innovation. If companies can make space travel more affordable, future generations might benefit from things like asteroid mining, space tourism, or even colonizing other planets.
But that sounds very futuristic. Right now, climate change, pandemics, and inequality are real and urgent issues. Shouldn't we fix Earth before dreaming about Mars?
True. So, to sum up, space exploration fuels science, technology, and even solutions for Earth. But it is extremely costly and raises ethical questions about priorities.
Exactly. If managed wisely, the money spent on space can benefit humanity in ways we might not fully see today.
Yes, but unless we ensure that resources are distributed fairly, space exploration risks becoming progress for a few, while many on Earth are still left behind.